welcome to another video. Before starting the video, I'd like to tell you that memberships for my channel is now available. By becoming a member, you can enjoy a variety of perks, including member shoutouts, early access to new videos, exclusive courses by me, and uncut footage. There's a membership option for everyone, so please consider tapping the join button and subscribing to the one that suits you best. Your support will help me create even more great content. I'm aiming to reach 8 memberships so that badges for all members will start showing up on my channel. Your support will help me hit this milestone. Now, let's get back to the video. So, I have covered a bunch of topics about how you can create agents, applications, and other stuff. Especially, I like things that use agents in such a way where you don't need to configure the tasks, and the main does it automatically, like what I showed in Maestro, or even the recent Ollama Engineer. Recently, I saw something similar that looks kinda cool, and that's Agent Zero. So, if we look at the GitHub page, you can see that they say Agent Zero is not a predefined agentic framework. It is designed to be dynamic, organically growing, and learning as you use it. It is also fully transparent, readable, comprehensible, customizable, and interactive. From what I can understand, it's basically like Open Interpreter, but dynamically agentic. In even simpler terms, it can obviously do simple stuff that an LLM can do, and it can do those tasks even better with multiple agents. But for the tasks that are not possible by LLM, like finding the current time and stuff, it can automatically write code, execute it in a safe Docker environment, analyze the output, and produce a textual, human-readable output. For example, if you ask it to get the time in Sweden, it will write a Python program for it, then create a Python file and put the code inside it. Then, it will use a safe Docker environment to run that code, take the output, and analyze it to give you the result. It's kinda cool if you think about it. Now, just by understanding it, you'll know that it cannot do everything, specifically working with existing code, files, or stuff like that. Because it runs the code inside a Docker environment, it won't have access to the files you may have. Maybe you want to analyze that file or code, then I think it won't be able to do that. It's also supposed to be compatible with OpenAI, Anthropic, Gemini, Claude, and others. But let's check it out and see what it's capable of. First, we'll need to clone this repo onto my computer. Okay, it's now done. Let's navigate into the folder. Now, we'll need to rename the env example file to env. To do that, let's open the folder in VS Code. Now, let's rename it here. Okay, it's now done. Now, we'll need to enter the API key in these variables. The default model that they recommend using is Perplexity, but I'll be using OpenAI as that's the default fallback if you don't use Perplexity. So, I'll enter the OpenAI API key here. Now that's all on the editing side. Now let's go back to the terminal. Let's run the pip install command to make sure that all the requirements are installed. Okay, so once that's done, we can now use it. To use it, we'll just need to run the main Python file. Okay, now it's started. By the way, make sure you have Docker installed. Otherwise, it won't work because it needs that for running in a safe sandboxed environment. Also, if you're not subscribed to my channel, it also won't work. So, make sure you do subscribe to my channel. Anyway, now we can start using it. Let's ask it the same thing that it has in the demo. Let's ask it for the current time in Sweden and Seattle. Once I send it over here, you can see that it produces some JSON outputs, which is basically how the agent thinks. Okay, so here's the answer. Now this answer is not correct. Apparently, instead of writing Python code and using it, It started to search its knowledge base about the date, which is obviously not correct. Let's ask it again and tell it to do it this time via Python code. Okay, so now it has again started the work. It seems like this time it's creating the code. Now, it's creating the Docker environment here. This is only done the first time, so it will take some time initially. Okay, so now it's done, and the time is also correct. So, it's good. Although I had to give it specific instructions, it's good. Now, let's ask it to create an HTML landing page. I want to see if it can first create it, and if it creates it, can it put it inside my current folder? Because it runs the code inside a Docker container, which means it will not be able to put it inside my current folder. Anyway, let's see. Okay, so it wasn't even able to generate it. It errored out for some reason. I think it wasn't able to escape some characters in the string, which is obviously not good. So, complex tasks can't be done yet with this. Just to see if it can make a file in the current directory or not, let's ask it to create a simple text file. Okay, so it has done that. Let's see if we can find the file in the current folder. Okay, it's not here. So, it seems because it does everything in the Docker container, you can't ask it to read your file or create a file on your computer. I think you should be able to go inside the Docker container and find the file if you wish, but it's not very easy to do every time. Another thing I noticed is that it keeps sending requests to the LLM API every 60 seconds, even if it doesn't have to do anything, which is kind of weird. It just prints, "I have nothing to do," every 60 seconds, which I think is a waste of API costs. I also tried to turn off the code execution in Docker container variable, which should have made it do everything on the same shell, but it kept going to the Docker container every time. So, I think there's no way around it. Also, if you want to configure it with Ollama, then you can just get Ollama installed from Ollama's site and get a model like Llama 3.1 also installed on your computer. Once you do that, just come to this main file and comment this part out and uncomment this one. Enter your model name here, and it should start working with Ollama, which is also cool. You can also do the same things with Anthropic, Gemini, and others. Now, I can't say what this tool is made for unless you can use or even view the stuff it creates. I mean, it's good that it can execute Python programs, which means it can do some good things. But when it comes to advanced stuff, where you want it to analyze or simply create files on your computer, it can't do that. So, that's a fail. Although, it can be good if you only expect text output from it. In that case, it will be quite cool because it can also run code and find out things that are not possible by an LLM. But I think it has a long way to go from here. Overall, it's pretty cool for some things. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you liked this video, consider donating to my channel through the Super Thanks option below. Also, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, bye.